Imagine waking up to the sound of silence in a small, peaceful town, only to discover that 8 lives had been brutally taken while the world slept. A single night in June 1912 turned a quiet town into a haunting mystery that would never be solved. No one heard the screams, no one saw the killer. Yet over a century later, the whispers of that night still echo through the walls of Villisca, Iowa. What happened in that house? Why did the killer never strike again, or did they? Tonight, we're diving deep into one of the most chilling and unsolved crimes in American history, and you won't want to miss a single detail. Welcome to Enigma Uncharted. Subscribe for more unsolved enigmas. Villisca, Iowa in 1912 was a quiet town, nestled in the heartland of America. The pace was slow, the people friendly, and life moved at a gentle rhythm. Neighbors knew each other well. They looked out for one another, creating a strong sense of community. Children played freely in the yards and streets. Life was simple and carefree, peaceful. It was the kind of place where nothing bad ever happened, or so it seemed. The Moore family, Josiah, Sarah, and their 4 children, Herman, Catherine, Boyd, and Paul, fit right in with this idyllic setting. They were well liked and respected by everyone in town. Their home, a white 2-story house on the edge of town, was a testament to their hard work and values, standing proudly as a symbol of their dedication. It was a place of warmth and laughter, filled with the sounds of joy, a place of safety and comfort. Or so they thought. The night of June 9th, 1912 started like any other, with the town settling into its usual calm. The Moore family attended Children's Day services at the Presbyterian Church, a cherished community event. They returned home afterward. The children prepared for bed, their laughter echoing through the house. The house grew quiet as the night deepened, but something sinister lurked in the shadows. Something unimaginable was about to unfold. The next morning, Mary Peckham, a neighbour, noticed something amiss. The air felt heavy, and an unsettling quiet had settled over the neighbourhood. The Moore house was unusually still. No one had seen the family that day, and the curtains remained drawn, blocking any view inside. Concerned, she walked over and knocked on the door. There was no answer, only an eerie silence that seemed to echo back at her. Mary tried the doorknob. It was unlocked, which was unusual for the typically cautious Moore family. Fear crept into her heart as she stepped inside, her pulse quickening with each step. The house was eerily silent. She called out for Sarah, her voice trembling slightly. There was no response. She made her way through the downstairs rooms, her anxiety growing with each unanswered call. Everything seemed to be in order, but the silence was deafening, pressing in on her from all sides. Then she noticed it, a blood-stained axe leaning against the wall in the downstairs guest bedroom. The sight sent a chill down her spine. Panic surged through her. She fled the house and ran for help, her mind racing with fear and confusion. The town marshal, Hank Horton, arrived shortly after, along with several other townspeople who had been alerted by Mary's frantic cries. What they discovered inside the Moore home would forever shatter the peace of Villisca, leaving a dark stain on the town's history. The scene that greeted the townspeople was horrific. 8 bodies lay bludgeoned to death in their beds. Josiah and Sarah Moore in their bedroom upstairs. The 4 children, 2 to a bed in the other upstairs bedrooms, all had died from severe blows to the head. The axe found downstairs was the likely murder weapon. Adding to the chilling nature of the crime were the meticulous steps the killer had taken. The windows were covered with sheets and blankets. The mirrors were draped with cloth. Even the axe head had been wiped clean. This was not the work of a frenzied attack. This was calculated, cold-blooded murder. The news of the murders spread like wildfire. The small town was in shock. Fear and suspicion gripped the community. Who could have committed such a horrific act, and why? The investigation into the Villisca axe murders was chaotic and flawed from the start. The small town was unprepared for such a gruesome crime. The crime scene was poorly secured, with townsfolk trampling through it. Evidence was mishandled and crucial clues were lost. Rumours and speculation ran rampant, with everyone in town having their own theory about who the killer might be. Despite these setbacks, several suspects emerged over time, each with their own potential motives and alibis. One of the primary suspects was a travelling preacher named Reverend George Kelly, who had a history of erratic behaviour. Kelly was known to have a violent temper and had been in Villisca the night of the murders, making him a prime suspect. He even admitted to being at the Moore house that night, though he claimed he was just looking for a place to stay, adding to the mystery. Kelly was tried twice for the murders, but was acquitted both times due to lack of evidence, leaving the case unresolved. Another suspect was Frank F. Jones, a prominent Villisca businessman. Jones had a motive rooted in personal and business conflicts. He was allegedly having an affair with Josiah Moore's wife Sarah, which fueled suspicions against him. There were also rumours that he had hired someone to kill the Moore family, adding another layer of intrigue to the case. However, like Kelly, Jones was never charged due to insufficient evidence, and the true identity of the murderer remains a mystery to this day. Despite the suspicions surrounding Kelly and Jones, many believe the real killer was never caught. Several other individuals were investigated, including a man named Sam Moyer, who had a history of mental illness and violence, and Henry Lee Moore, a serial killer who committed similar axe murders around the same time. However, no concrete evidence linked any of them to the Villisca crimes. The lack of a conviction left the town of Villisca and the nation bewildered. The idea that such a heinous crime could go unpunished was unthinkable. It fueled speculation and fear. It also gave rise to theories about the killer's identity and motives. One theory that gained traction was that the Villisca axe murders were the work of a transient serial killer. This theory was supported by the fact that several similar axe murders occurred in the Midwest around the same time. The victims, like the Moore family, were often bludgeoned to death in their sleep. The killer would cover the mirrors and windows, much like what had been done in Villisca. The transient killer theory was never proven, but it added another layer of fear and intrigue to the already chilling case. It suggested that the killer could be anyone, lurking in the shadows, ready to strike again. It turned the unknown into a monster, a boogeyman that haunted the dreams of a nation. In the years following the murders, the Moore house stood empty, a grim reminder of the horrific crime. Stories began to circulate of strange noises, unexplained occurrences, and ghostly apparitions. The house, once a symbol of family and security, became known as the Villisca Axe Murder House, a place of morbid fascination and fear. Paranormal investigators and ghost hunters flocked to the site, eager to document evidence of the supernatural. They claimed to have captured EVPs, seen shadow figures, and felt cold spots. The house became a popular destination for thrill seekers and those seeking a glimpse into the paranormal. Today, the Villisca Axe Murder House is a museum and overnight tourist attraction. Visitors can tour the house, learn about the murders, and even spend the night in the very rooms where the horrific crime took place. The Villisca axe murders captivated the nation, becoming a fixture in true crime lore. Books, documentaries and podcasts have explored the case, each attempting to shed light on the mystery. Theories abound, but the truth remains elusive. The murders serve as a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of even the most peaceful communities. They also highlight the limitations of early 20th century forensic science and the devastating impact of unsolved crimes. Over a century later, the Villisca axe murders continue to fascinate and horrify. The brutality of the crime, the innocence of the victims, and the mystery surrounding the killer's identity have ensured that the case remains etched in the public consciousness. The enduring fascination with the case speaks to our innate desire to understand the darkness that resides within humanity. It also reflects our need for justice, for closure, and for answers to life's most unsettling questions. The Villisca axe murders remain one of America's most enduring unsolved mysteries. The killer's identity, their motive, and the events leading up to that fateful night in June 1912 are still shrouded in mystery. The passage of time may have faded the memories, but it has not diminished the horror of that night. The questions linger, the mystery endures, and the Villisca axe murders continue to cast a long, dark shadow over the small Iowa town. If you like this video, don't forget to like it and subscribe to Enigma Uncharted for more unsolved enigmas.